Alright guys, so how you doing? Dark Guy 234 here. We're gonna go over the new patch notes in Path of Exile. I have them up right here. I've been playing the game for about a year and a half, 2 years. Well, I started playing when open beta hit. I knew about the game before open beta through mostly Kripparrian. Kripparrian showed the game off. Um, at its earliest stages, not earliest, but like really early stages, and he really just got me into the game a lot, and he made some great videos on the game, and he made some incredibly um, powerful characters, and I think that's kind of why he got so bored of the game, is because he was just like plowing through content like crazy. But anyway, that's a debate um, to leave to a future time. So anyway, the new patch hit, the download started, and in about an hour and a half now, we are going to experience the new patch. Now, this new patch is a complete overhaul on everything um, to do with the game, pretty much. Like the passive skill tree is also reworked. I can show you guys. Well, I'll leave that for another video just to go over the patch notes so far. We're going to go over the most important patch notes. I'm not going to go over these things that we already know, like the Rampage is kill streak oriented. Beyond is has portals. I'm going to have to experience it myself, but small portals appear, and a larger portal opens, and demons flow forth, and then they can close together, they can open a third tier that results in several truly terrifying entities to emerge, which is pretty terrifying, especially in a hardcore league. I mean, sorry, just checking my levels here. So masters, missions, blah blah blah. I hope this isn't too loud. Let me just back up this thing. Okay, so let's see. Added a new skill. I haven't seen this yet. Tornado shot. Fire a piercing shot that travels until it reaches its target location. Then it will fire projectiles out in all directions from that point. That sounds pretty awesome. We're going to have to see what the base damage is on that skill. There's certain things you can probably do. Added fire, whether it's a physical skill or not. Yeah, it's a physical skill. It's a piercing shot, so it's probably going to use bows. Extra projectiles might not be a good choice because it's already firing projectiles in all directions anyway. It's sort of like Fan of Knives in that aspect. Strength Intelligence skill, Herald of Ash. Channel fire with your hands, adding fire to your physical damage. If you kill an enemy with attack, other enemies near them will be ignited for the overkill damage. This is very interesting. This actually might work well with hard-hitting, slow weapons, sort of like very slow, like a Curry Maul, K-A-U. No, I'm sorry, Karui Maul. Those are like sort of the slowest attack speed Mauls, and huge upfront damage. So if you hit them with an overkill, other enemies near them, so it might be able to be increased by increased AoE. It's very interesting, though. Channel fire through your hands, adding fire to your physical. So it's almost like a regular auto attack. You might have to link this with melee splash to get any use out of it. It's very interesting. Poachers, okay. So pretty much it has the same thing for ice as well. So they have one for fire and for ice. They don't, however, have one for lightning, which might be okay. Oh, actually, Herald of Ash is adding fire to your physical damage, so it's sort of like added fire, but it's just a skill, a whole skill. Dexterity Intelligence skill, Herald of Ice, channels ice for you through your hands, adding cold damage to spells and attacks. That's very interesting as well. I'm really excited about these new skills, to be honest. So it adds cold damage to spells as well as attacks. We're just going to see how that works out. It's going to be really cool. All right, Poacher's Mark, a curse that reduces enemy evasion, grants you life and mana when you hit them, increases your... Wow, this is really cool. Increases your flash charge gain and has you chance to grant you a frenzy charge when you kill them. So instead of Warlord's Mark, which is the other skill, it's a strength skill, it is Poacher's Mark, which is weird. Grants you life and mana when you hit them, so it's almost more like life on hit instead of life leech. Maybe the more things you hit, the more life and mana you get. Flash charge gain, that is also in the Warlord's Mark curse as well, so that's pretty interesting. But you get a chance to grant you a frenzy charge when you kill them. It's an endurance charge for Warlord's Mark. So if you use Warlord's Mark, it's an endurance charge. This is a frenzy charge. Very cool. Added a new strength intelligence support gem, Generosity, or is linked to Generosity. Have increased aura effect for your allies, but do not affect you. This is great for, amazing for support characters. This is going to be really interesting. This might actually make like an Anger Wrath Aura bot be viable and make it so that, because I heard Anger and Wrath are going to be nerfed in this patch. So if with this, you can actually just have an Aura bot and their Aura effect will be better for their allies, and they won't do much damage anyway, but they'll be there to supply the aura to the party, which is really, really cool. Mini boss fights have been improved. I've seen some videos on like the Maryville fight with like the big tornadoes and stuff. That's going to be really, really fun. Very dangerous in races though. Before in races, if you were like a marauder or some sort of heavy hitting, you could just heavy strike her to death and she wouldn't move. That still might be possible, but I figure with the additions to these new mechanics, it just might be more difficult. We've added a new duelist rogue Exile. Okay, Molten Strike and Lightning Strike, blah blah blah. This is more... Oh, spectator mode is going to be awesome. Spectator mode's going to be really, really cool. And it's going to really help the PvP situation. I know a couple of people have started PvP arena website, which is very awesome. I can't wait till it's like big in the game. It's going to be great. When respecializing, if the use of the book would fail, you now receive an error message explaining why. You should prompt to exchange what will change. That's good. So Bandit Quest reward, the Bandit Quest vendor recipes are just you're gonna know if they're gonna fail or not. So you'll get like a message, which is cool. New frenzy effect, that's awesome. Chickens have been added to forest encampment. Okay, that's cool. That's good. That's good. Definitely needed some chickens. Content. All right, so they added some content. This is interesting. The Void Eye and the Valkyries will no longer drop at all. So they're pretty much new quiver progression will be interesting. Okay, so the new quivers are in standard and hardcore, which are great because the new quivers are much better. They have better base mods. Strong boxes now in all leagues. Great addition. Hopefully if you're in hardcore you don't accidentally click on one of them that completely kills you. I know I've seen a lot of interesting things in the 1 month race. Void Eye, that's going to be really... Is it going to be overpriced? I mean, having a +5 level of Arctic armor is very powerful, I've heard. I haven't experienced that myself. I have like 3 of these Valkyries because they were like the more unique, or the more common unique, and it wasn't that great of an advantage. Like it +2 to Val skills is like whatever. You're not going to use Val skills a lot. So, but it'll be nice to have. It's now legacy. Both of these are now legacy. So blah blah blah. Balance add dogs. Revenant has been rebalanced. The Revenant. Which one's the Revenant? I'm not sure. Spine Snap to the slum sewers. So Spine Snap, does he? I think Spine Snap is the one in the upper prison, lower prison. Not sure. Player life per level has been increased from 8 to 12. We all know this. It's already been released. Like a lot of this stuff's been released already. Blind was Blind right here was nerfed by 25%. That's a big. I guess it was too OP. 75% was pretty OP. So all you needed really was 25% evasion, and you would be fine. Now you need 50 if you want like 100% miss chance. I'm not sure how all that it works. I mean, it might work differently than that, but nevertheless, it's a big nerf to blind. So, Bringer of Rain's not. Actually it's a nerf to Bringer of Rain, sort of, in a small way. Okay. Most of the time, if you're running a Bringer of Rain, you're not running evasion. Like you're not running pure evasion with Bringer of Rain. But I know that blind was super OP for any evasion-based character. So early quest rewards have been reworked. So that means, oh, okay, the duelist gets double strike. The Shadow now gets Viper Strike, which is an interesting thing here. This might be a nerf to Shadow in races, because actually the Shadow always finished first. I'm sorry, they always killed Hillock first. There was no way around it. Like the Shadow would always crit them because they had a dagger, and they would just kill it. The duelist always had the worst start in a race because cleave. What are you going to do with cleave? So I'm assuming cleave's going to be an option once you get into, Lion Eyes Watch. So instead of picking double strike, then you're going to have to choose. It's going to be interesting because you won't be able to choose both cleave and dual strike in races, in duelist races. Probably most people are going to go for Molten Strike, but I did hear that. Okay, so here's the most important stuff. Okay, mana skill. Okay, mana cost has been revised as well. Okay, so Arctic Breath, and of course you guys can go over this yourself, but I'm just going through it just to because I'm all excited. I'm so excited about this new patch. Okay, Arctic Breath has gotten a reduction in cast time by, looks like 20%. Yeah, 20%. Mana cost has been reduced further than other skills to account for the change in cast time. Its damage has been reduced by 20%, but you're going to cast 20% faster. At first I thought this was a nerf, but it's not. Same change will be applied to monster versions of the skill, though to a lesser or no extent if they have a cooldown. If they had a cooldown or mana cost. Okay, whatever. Burning Arrow skill now deals 130% of base damage, has a 50% converted to fire. I think that's what it was before, wasn't it? And has a fixed ignite chance. This is cool. I don't think its ignite chance was fixed. Gains increased burning damage and physical damage per level, so it's pretty powerful. Pretty powerful single target skill. I actually use this as on my bow. I don't have a ton of bow characters, and I've only gotten to like level 50 with bow characters. I'm mostly like a spellcaster, melee type guy. I've done discharge. I've done a really cool burning discharge before they did the enduring cry thing, where they made it so that you can only have one enduring cry and the other one would go on cooldown. It's still viable now, but you have to hook up Enduring Cry with Spell Echo to get some endurance charges. At least that's what I feel. For burning discharge. That's for like the endurance charge discharge. Okay. Cold Snap got a buff. Okay. Change freeze chance to 30%. I don't know if it was 50% before, but now it's 30%. We've increased the damage by Cold Snap by 50% at all levels. So builds like Cold Snap, like Forever Cold Snap builds, the unique that gives power charges on non-crit, that unique will probably skyrocket. Sad to say, but it's going to get more expensive because Cold Snap got a buff, so that unique got a buff as well. It's a lot more. Okay, life and mana on kill for critical weakness. has been added. That's interesting. That's pretty cool. Now a chance to gain a power charge when you kill it. So it's pretty much it's adding the functionality of this, the new skill, as well as like Warlord's Mark. It's Assassin's Mark. So now you're gonna have a mark for this is a Dex Intelligence skill. So you're gonna have a mark for power charges, a mark for frenzy charges, and a mark for endurance charges. So that's pretty damn cool. It's cool stuff. Life and mana on kill is awesome, especially when you're plowing through, and you can rely less on flasks to heal you up after you kill something, which might make more more space for another flask, like a granite flask or some sort of utility flask. So that's pretty cool. Cyclone, the skill can no longer be supported by the multi-strike support gem. I find this okay, because like if you linked it with multi-strike, it became very random where you would go. You weren't sure if you would, you would desync a lot, pretty much. Like this is just a desync prevention. Detonate dead. This now deals entirely fire damage. Oh, deals 8% of corpse life as well as flat damage. The damage increase per level has been significantly increased. Okay, so they're pretty much forcing you to level up your detonate dead, so your mana cost is gonna get a lot higher with this skill. But they reduce mana cost for everything, so we'll see if Detonate Dead is as OP as it is now, but you'll definitely have to level up some Detonate Dead gems in order to do this. So, so it's a huge nerf. It's pretty much a huge nerf. The cast time has been decreased, but the quality on this skill now offers substantially less cast speed, from 60% to 20% cast speed. I'm thinking when GGG made this skill, they made this skill to be like a support skill for doing a little bit extra physical damage. When they released Desecrate, that's when you really could rely on Detonate Dead. It had reliable damage. You could spawn corpses. Before Desecrate, it was a lot harder, but now that Desecrate's here, it's very, very powerful skill, and this might be a good thing. It was just very, very powerful. I'm kind of sad about it, but hey, what are you going to do? I do have a Detonate Dead that I was leveling, so that's fine. Whatever. Reeve, the skill base area has been increased by 17%. Very nice. The area increase per stack has been reduced from 20% to 50% per stack. Okay, so it's a base increase, but that's fine. With multi-strike, you're going to get a lot more stacks. So you're just not going to hit like way across the screen anymore, which is fine. Viper Strike, the skill now adds 10% of physical damage as chaos damage. Okay. And has a 50% chance to deal 175% of the attack's damage as chaos damage over 7 seconds. The effect duration won't be refreshed by new attacks, but there is no limit to how many Viper Strike debuffs an enemy can have. Holy crap, this is huge. This is very, very huge. So as long as you keep hitting them with like a really, really high attack speed, like bum, 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 hit them real fast and then like back away, you can use multi-strike to get, like multi-strike is going to be huge for this because the more stacks you get, it's just going to do so much damage. That's really cool. That's especially cool for bosses. 10, imagine 10, 12 stacks of that. Like, holy crap. That's awesome. Shockwave Totem. Skill now counts as spell damage. Damage has been increased by 50%. So, its duration has been reduced. So, I've seen some Shockwave Totem builds on the streams, on some of the streams, and I've seen that it does a lot of good damage. So it counts as spell damage. So that's gonna be fun. Shockwave Totem seems like a pretty interesting skill. I mean, if you group with melee characters, you're not gonna have a fun time, or the melee characters aren't gonna have a fun time. They're gonna be like, fuck. It's gonna be excuse my language. It's just really hard because mobs are gonna be pushed everywhere. But that's okay. It's still gonna be fun, especially for solo play. It's gonna be fun. I think it's going to be way more fun than Searing Bond is, to be honest. Warlord's Mark has an increased chance to be stunned and reduced enemy stun recovery. Cool, so you can use this with like a stunner. Cool stunner. Life and mana leech are now not specific to physical damage. Whoa! That is awesome! That's awesome. So this pretty much makes Warlord's Mark useful for anybody. Spellcaster, anyone that wants more life and mana leech, wants increased stun chance, if you have really hard-hitting skill as well, like you can use this, I don't know, like this probably isn't the best curse to use for a spell, especially an elemental spell. Maybe you can use it for a hard-hitting, you're still going to want cast speed, like you're, I don't know, it's mainly going to be good for physical, like stunners, like guys that can really stun and have all the stun nodes and stuff, and are using a mace and whatnot, and ground slam. But the life and mana leech, not specific to physical damage, that's pretty interesting. That's a cool change. It gets it's. I'm going to see a little bit more use, but not too much more use. There's more value out of like things like elemental weakness. You're going to do a lot more damage with elemental weakness. So maybe as a secondary curse. We have increased the critical strike chance of most lightning spells. That's pretty cool. Damage is increased by 30%. Or ball lightning has been increased. The damage has been increased by 30%. That's cool. That's great because I do enjoy ball lightning. I do enjoy casting these balls of like lightning craziness. So that's gonna be awesome. Cleave. The skill no longer has a damage effectiveness penalty. When dual wielding it, it now deals 65% of weapon. So it does 100% of damage when you're using a single. When you're using like a one-handed sword, it's 100% damage effectiveness, which is amazing. Holy crap, that's really good. It's almost done, guys. Sorry. Oh wow, this is a big list. This is gonna be a long video. I should have hooked up my camera, but it's too late to apologize. Well, I hope you guys enjoy this nonetheless. Anyway, let's go back. Skill buffs. Freezing Pulse. I love this. Increases projectile speed. Damage is increased by 50% at level 1 to 40% at level 20. So maybe it's still increased past that. I'm not really sure, but it's a good change. Freezing Pulse always seem to not do enough damage, especially when you're not using LMP. But with LMP, it's going to be so good. It might be better than this skill, Glacial Cascade. The area of effect of each ice section has been increased. That's awesome. This also increases the area of overlaps of sections. Okay, so you can overlap sections now. I'm going to have to do some testing on this. I was doing some testing on Freezing Pulse as opposed to Glacial Cascade, which one did more damage, which one was easier to use. Freeze Pulse was more responsive because it's a faster cast speed, but Glacial Cascade ended up doing more damage and hitting more times. But we'll see. Flame Surge, we have increased the width of the flame. That's awesome, because it seemed to have not that much width. Glacial Hammer, we've increased its damage effectiveness by 50%, or 5%. Ice Nova, increased the high level damage of the skill. That's really cool, but not many more people are going to use it. Ice Shot, the area and arc size have been increased. We have added damage effectiveness of 120%, so it's got a buff. Increased the damage at level to 87%. Ice Spear got a huge buff at level 20. 87%. Wow, that's awesome. So people aren't just going to use a level 1 Ice Spear to get charges. They're actually going to use it. It has a high mana cost. Okay, Ice Spear has a higher mana cost than Freezing Pulse, or I think Glacial Cascade, but it's going to be tough to... well, actually, that brings me back. They redid the mana cost. Okay, so Lightning Strike deals more damage. Raise Spectre. Penalties this gives to Monster Light has been reduced by a flat 10% at all levels. So it used to the life damage and energy shield reduction was reduced the more you level it. So it'd be like a 50% reduction or some crazy amount of 40% reduction. But then when you level it, it'll go 20%. You know, it would go up. But now it's 10% for all levels. So at level 1, it's going to be 10% as well, which is great. Raise Zombies now is at 13% more life. Awesome. Spark does 20% more damage. Bounces off frost walls. That's fun. It's amazing. Spark has always been powerful. I mean, not super powerful. I mean, I guess it's just going to see more use. Spark totems might come back. And that's good. I have a 16% spark in my inventory in hardcore, so that's awesome. Obviously, I'm going to start playing the actual new leagues first. Summon Skeletons. Deal 50% more base damage. Cool. Nerfs. All curse skills has their power reduced, so elemental resistance reduction curses have been reduced further for reduced monster resistance. So to compensate for reduced monster resistances, so monsters aren't going to have as much resists. So there's going to be less of a use for elemental resist reduction curses, like elemental weakness and flammability and whatnot. So they've been nerfed. So but also the monster resistances have been nerfed. So spell damage is going to do more damage. Anger, the damage has been reduced by 18%. So they've reduced, because on the tree they've reduced the aura nodes, all like the reduced mana nodes. Like I'll even show you guys the new tree here real quick, so that we can actually go back and forth. Let me just make sure I always get so paranoid about this stuff. Okay. So we'll go to a node here. Yeah, they changed everything. Okay, so this used to be, what, 16% or something? I'm not really sure. But all of these reduced mana reserved have been reduced by 1%. But it stacks up. If you made a character like elemental buzzsaw and you relied on these nodes, like they've gotten nerfed, and also the auras have gotten nerfed. So pretty much elemental buzzsaw has been nerfed, which I'm very sad about, because that was probably one of my favorite characters to play, even though it might have been cheesy. I don't know. I thought it was cool. I thought that it was nice because you didn't start out completely OP. You had to get all the aura nodes. You know, like you had to get these. 8% reduced mana reserve. I don't know if that got a change. Was that 10% before? I'm not entirely sure. But this is still a good cluster right here. 4% into 8%. So that's 12% altogether. Plus this one up here is 18%. Like altogether, I did the calculations. It was a 41%. It used to be a 41%. Here's another one. It was a 40% reduction in mana reserved, but now it's a 31%. So you're going to have to compensate for that 10% reduction. I don't know if Elemental Buzzsaw can use the staple auras, if they can use all 3 auras at the same time. But it doesn't look like they'll even be able to use all 3 auras that you need: Anger, Wrath, and Haste. So let's just go to Wrath real quick. 24% reduction. Holy crap, that's a huge reduction. I mean, people were stacking this damage, this amazing damage that Anger or Wrath has done. And now they're not going to get as much damage out of it. Summon Raging Spirit. This damage done by the Summon Raging Spirit is reduced at higher levels. I'm kind of sad about this. I was looking forward to starting a Summon Raging Spirit character. Cast time, clarity. Oh, okay. Arc has been reduced. The damage has been reduced by 15%. So you, in order to do really good damage, or okay damage, you're going to have to use the Geoffrey's Crest Great Crown in order to even take advantage of the shock. I mean, maybe they're compensate. This still might do good damage. I'm not entirely sure, because they changed shock. They changed shock to just be one stack. So when you get one stack, that's 50% extra damage. So you know, a 20% quality arc might still do good damage, but it's hard to say. If you have a lot of shock chance, I mean, they change the tree. We'll see, but arc is nerfed. Cast time of clarity has been increased to 1.2 seconds to line up with other auras. That's fine. Mana reservation of clarity has been increased, and the mana regeneration rates adjusted. What does adjusted mean? We don't know yet. 8% enemy resistance at 20% quality. Oh, okay, so the 20% quality ones have been nerfed. Duration. Oh, the duration of Enfeeble has been reduced. Whatever. Flame Blast. Reduced damage by 15% at all levels. Still going to do a lot of damage, though, I think, because it's like a stacking thing. A 10 stack of Flame Blast is still going to do great damage, I think. Especially with Spell Echo, where Spell Echo is going to get you to 10 stacks very quickly. So you might want to, yeah, it's still going to do good damage. But crit Flame Blast is going to be less effective because the crit chance has been reduced. So you won't be able to just do one stack and just get insane burns off of one stack. Like you're going to have to charge it. So you can't just use concentrated effect and Fire Pen and Chance to Ignite and Alloy Prolif and expect one stack to do enough damage. You're going to have to charge it. You're going to have to get some more cast speed, maybe some Spell Echo in there. Spell Echo is amazing with Flame Blast, I feel. It's just the amount of cast speed you get from Spell Echo is amazing. So you get to 10 stacks more quickly. All right. I'm spending too much time on this. Frenzy skill is now constant attack speed per frenzy charge. Okay, so you don't gain attack speed per gem level. Nerf to Frenzy, nerf to Soul Taker, Frenzy, Melee, Splash builds, because you're just going to get less attack speed. But I think the physical damage per gem level is still good. Like, it's still going to do decent. Okay, ooh, here we go. Searing Bond. Damage has been reduced for Searing Bond. Rip Searing Bond. Spectral Throw, we have reduced the damage effectiveness of this skill by a flat 8% at all levels. So that means at level 1, it's going to do absolutely terrible damage, because at level 1, they reduced the damage effectiveness at level 1, but not at level 20. But now this is across all levels, 8% across all levels. So I think at level 1, the damage effectiveness was 42% or something, so an 8% reduction on that. That 42% is what, 34. So it's 34% damage effectiveness on your Spectral Throw. That's not a lot. You might see less Spectral Throwers in races, especially races. You might see more Cleave, but Cleave is now really good. Like, you get 100%, especially on like two-hand. We're gonna see how that plays out, but that's really cool. I always missed Cleave. I always thought it was a fun skill to use, but that's just me. Vulnerability no longer affects Energy Shield. The Energy Shield recharge delay, increase, and recharge rate reduction stats have been removed. In addition, the increased chance to be stunned and reduced enemy stun recovery stats have been removed. Wow. Okay, so it only increases physical... That's all you have to say, really. Vulnerability only increases physical damage and degeneration. That's fine. That's all we really used it for. So that's fine. Added Chaos. Mana Multiplier. Okay, so these are Mana Multiplier reductions across the board. Added Chaos, added Cold, added Fire, added Lightning. Reduced. Cool. Good stuff. Block Chance Reduction. Oh, this is the PvP only thing. Um, this this is like a vendor recipe gem. I don't have it myself. I think it's only good for PvP. I'm sure I can look it up and see how to get it, but it doesn't really apply to me. But the amount of penetration has been reduced by a flat 10% to all levels, so it's a nerf to this gem. Cold to fire. This gem now converts 50% for cold damage to fire damage at all levels. Okay, good. So also adds a percentage of cold damage as fire damage, starting at 10%. Oh, cool. Not many people use this gem, so let's continue. Curse on hit. Triggered gem now has a 100% chance to cast Sakura curses. Oh. Okay, so the way they compensate for that is they added the 10% reduced curse effect, which is fine. I do like this though. The trigger gem now has a 100% chance. So before it had like a 38% chance on hit to curse the enemy. Now it has a 100% chance. That's all around a buff to that. Cast on critical strike. Chance to cast has been reduced by a flat 20% at all levels. I'm kind of upset about this. I was meaning to build a cast on crit character, and I never got around to it. Now this might not ever happen because the chance to cast has been reduced by 20%. I don't know if that's a big number, but it seems like a big number to me because, I mean, it just looked like so much fun just having stuff cast for you. Like you just shoot at them with a bow and just stuff flies out of your face. Arc and all sorts of stuff. I've seen the havoc that it causes. Okay, chain mana multiplier reduced. Very cool. Mana multiplier reduced. Mana multiplier reduced. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So passive skill tree balance. Yeah. Increased maximum elemental resistances have been removed. Element-specific bonuses are now available in smaller values on 3 specific defensive notables. Okay, so let's look at the tree here. I want to show you guys what happened all around. So right here, this used to be a +2 to maximum resistances, all resistances. It's not there anymore. Now we have, let me see if I can find them. We have this barbarism, which gives life and +1 to max fire res and a little bit of fire res. So it gives what this node used to give. This node also used to give +1 to all. This used to give +1 to fire. So that, I mean, pretty much all of these, the +1s that used to be here, they've scattered them across the tree. So now, and they come with extra bonuses, which I kind of like. I like the fact that that one gives life. This one, however, I don't know if I'm going to get that on any character, really, unless I'm Energy Shield, of course, but it seems like a lot of points. If I'm going minion spec, maybe. Like, fire, if I go fire and I want to go over here and get some lightning res, I mean, I don't know. It doesn't seem like it's very... Because, like, if you get it, there's no connection. Like, if you want to go down here, you're out of luck, because you either have to go here or you can go around. But it's like a dead end right here. Very interesting. It's 3 points, 1, 2, 3, and you just get maximum energy shield. A lot of energy shield, I may add, but it's not going to be good for like anyone just wanting to spec into it. You're going to want to have more than just the reason to get. Like, it's not a lot of value for like a life-based. Anyway, yeah, they added a lot of different stuff. 20% increased elemental damage with wands. That's pretty cool. This they changed over here. It's now Serpent Stance. Serpent Stance used to be up here. These used to be some crit nodes, and it used to be life on kill here as well, which they got rid of. I don't see it anywhere. They did keep these, but these don't have those that chill node. Those chill, like increased chill time. I think they got rid of all of the increased chill. Like, it was increased chill duration is what it was called. Oh, and they moved it here. They moved it here, Breath of Rime, and they moved it over here as well, Fingers of Frost. And they added freeze chance. Here, they have a lot of freeze chance now. Let's see. Freeze chance. Freeze chance. So if you get all these nodes, you're going to have an extra 20% chance to freeze on top of if you're a shadow. There's another 5%. So 1/4 of the time you're going to freeze something. So that is cool. I like that. Static blows has been moved over here. You also get an additional 5% chance to shock over here. So that's pretty cool. I think it used to be 10% and 10%, but now it's just 15%. So I like how they added resistance penetration to the big elemental nodes up here. Here's more chance to shock here. If you want to go to Breath of Lightning, increase shock duration and shock chance. You can even get both if you want, but shock chance is nice to have if you're not a crit build. But they adjusted the crit percentage of lightning spells, so we'll see. Really cool stuff. I can't wait to try all this stuff out. It's going to require a lot of testing. 2 life and energy shield clusters. Alright, yeah, percentage-based life increased. These have been reduced and redistributed. Curse effect. Like, they added a whole bunch of curse nodes. Like, it's awesome. So, curse effect, curse duration, radius of curses, curse cast speed, and here's Whispers of Doom. It's actually, I feel like it only requires 1, 2, 3, 4, but there's no Hexmaster anymore. Hexmaster has been moved to here, and it doesn't make it last forever. It is 100% increased curse duration. So that's going to make your Enfeeble, your flammability last twice as long, but not forever. So, like at Ziri fights where, like Curse Reflection, if you want to cast a curse, you're just going to have to use the totem again. Like you're going to have to keep it out, or like keep it somewhere. Just keep it somewhere. So, yeah, we've already saw this. Aura reservation costs and aura effect bonuses. Oh, so the aura reservation costs have been reduced. Oh, but the actual cost didn't get reduced. Like, it's 6. Oh, moral conviction. Oh, mortal conviction is actually a blood magic thing. It is down here. Okay. Oh, 50%. This says 60%. Why is this? Oh, I guess it was another change. This might not be like the most updated, but it used to be 40% less mana reserve. Now it's 60%. But it's still a lot. Like if you're gonna do blood magic and you go like hardcore, you're still gonna not want to use any auras at all. But it's okay. I mean, for softcore, which is fine because I play both. You know, I play both leagues. Hardcore when I'm feeling like kind of frisky. Standard if I want to experiment with a specific build and I don't want to just have to worry about dying every, more for experimentation. I like it. Whatever way I play the game, I still get a huge enjoyment out of it. But that's a discussion for later. Let's concentrate. I have a funny way of like getting off of topic. Anyway, holy crap, this has been a long video. I'm very sorry. All right, item balance. All bows have their damage increased. First 2 tiers of weapons now have higher attack speeds and lower damage to compensate. Okay, first 2 tiers of weapons. So that's like with bows it's the first and third tiers. Oh, I see. Now higher attacks. Okay, with bows it's the crude bow and the long bow now have higher attack speeds. So we'll see how this goes. Second tier has a lower attack speed. Cool. I like this. Short bow has a lower attack speed, increased damage to compensate. The short bow used to always be the bow that used the most mana. It felt the coolest shooting it, but it used the most mana very quickly, and you didn't do much damage. Like you would leave some mobs alive before you got done casting. The Decimation Bow and Death Bow have been given the same increased critical strike chance implicit mod. As the Harbinger Bow? No way. So the unique Death Bow gives a huge boost to increased critical multiplier. So now that it has an implicit increased crit chance mod, it's going to be way more valuable. Way more valuable. Like, holy crap. Like, people actually built crazy characters back in the day using the Death Bow because it provided such a huge crit multiplier that whenever they crit, they did an insane amount of damage, and it did not matter that the bow was a lower level bow. Like, it's actually level, what is it, 30, 35, something like that. It's a low level bow, and they were using it in high level maps because they had stacked so much crit multi with the bonus of the death bow. So we'll see how that goes. The recurve and sniper bow have been given the same implicit mod as the Markarth bow. It's awesome. Great mod. New tiers of life and mana flask been added at levels 65 and 70. Ooh. Very powerful flasks. Very cool. Mid to higher tiers of life flasks have been buffed substantially. Ooh, I like it. Life portion of hybrid flask. The sapping mod now only increases life recovered by 40%, down from 60%. Okay, so this is the sapping mod is the mod that gets rid of mana. Like if you had a sapping life flask, it would sap from your mana 10% of the life recovered, and it would increase life recovered by 60%. Now it's 40%, so that's a nerf to sapping mods, especially like sanctified life flasks that were rolled to sap mana. They're not going to give as much mana, or they're not going to give as much life. It used to give like 1800% life, or I'm sorry, 1800 life, something like that. Rarity tiers, many uniques have been changed. Notably, 2 of the experience gain items have been made much rarer. Interesting. So they're gonna get really expensive. They actually those 2 items I believe were not too expensive. Huh. I just want to check something real quick. Sorry guys. Let's see. Hardcore. Let's see. Chips Apex. Oh. Did you? Oh yeah, that's what I meant. That's what it is. How much are they going for? Increased experience gain. How much are they going for? Let's see. Come on. 2 chaos. 2. Well, holy crap! They're gonna be made much rarer, so I might want to get one. What do you think, guys? I shouldn't have showed this in the video though. Now everyone's gonna get it. All right, we'll see. Okay. Additional curse items have been made rare. Oh, that is interesting. But I don't like how they make things rare. Like now, the price is gonna skyrocket. It's just gonna be so expensive. But I do have one of those items, I believe. I have the additional curse ring, Dodri's Damning, I believe. But I don't know. I'd never liked the changes to unique items because the value changes and like the market just gets insane. So I don't know. Hopefully, I can grab one of those real quick. I don't think I'll be able to. I think lots of people will be trying to buy them for like 1 chaos. This one's 9 chaos, but I mean they're not very powerful though. I mean they're only super powerful if you want to. I mean they're not powerful pieces. That like they aren't like I don't know why someone would pay like 2 exalts for this. All you get is increased experience gain. You don't get anything else except a little bit of resist and a little bit of more damage. Um, Terrible defenses. Like it's really not that good. It's like the stats kind of look like, oh, you know, that's something that you would get off of like a low level unique or something. But the increased experience gain used to turn the tide in like long races, like a 1 month race or a 2 week race. People would always want to buy the Chitis Apex to get a huge experience boost. But they should really ban these uniques from races. Really, it just gives too much of an advantage. A 5% increase to experience. Oh, the rings too. The Perendius. I forget what they're called. The unique rings that give 3% increased experience are now rarer. So Dying Breath is awesome. Now it's actually better than it was. 18% increased damage taken was kind of bad, and it was supposed to be like a support unique, but now it gives it increased aura effect. So that's really cool. You can have an aura bot easily with Dying Breath. Um, Crown of Eyes, Crown of Thorns grants 60 to 80 flat energy shield. Existing versions will change to a value of the new range if a Divine Orb is used on it. So if you want to keep a Legacy Crown of Thorns, don't use a Divine Orb on it. So just keep it the way it is. I mean, it's a buff. It's actually a buff to the item. I'm gonna try to get through this, but you can read this yourself. I'll post the URL on my video. Infractum now is additional. Up from 500. Oh, this one is pretty cool. I like the buffs to these. I don't know. I'd probably use a Divine Orb if I really wanted the buff to the thing. I know that they buffed a couple things last patch, and yeah, grants 2,000 life up from 500. That's a huge buff to Mondragul's Grasp. Cool. Shackles of the Wretched, Gouda. Okay, Gouda's a really cool YouTube video maker, and he plays PoE, and he's got like he has the craziest builds ever. Like if you ever thought of a build, his builds are even crazier than anything you've ever thought of. So props to him for creating this. He created this unique for one purpose, and he showed it on one of his videos. You should check him out. Just search for GHUDDA in YouTube. Anyway, I'm sorry guys, I'm getting distracted. Chevron's Revelation. This isn't Chevron's wrappings. Energy Shield. This is Revelation. Energy Shield regeneration has been reduced from 4% to 3% per second. Existing versions of the ring will only be updated if a Divine Orb is used on it. So, if you have a Legacy Chevrons, it's going to be more valuable. I hate these. I hate these. I hate when stuff becomes more rarer. The rarities... Oh, Atziri's Acuity is now the rarest drop? That was the second to rarest. That was like the second tier. Now it's the rarest drop. That's going to skyrocket in value. It was already super expensive. It was already like, what, 200 exalts for Atziri's Acuity? Screw that. Like, that's crazy. It's crazy. Specific monster balance. I'll read that later, whatever. You guys can read that. Bug fixes. You guys can read that. Anyway, that's it. Thanks for watching. I'm sorry this took so long. There was just a lot to go over. All in all, I'm excited about the patch. I know there was a couple of nerfs. It nerfed a couple of my builds, but that's okay. Life goes on. The whole point of the game is to find out what the next really good skill is. Discharge has always been a really good skill to use, but you have to pair it up with Valpact, of course, for Reflect. You don't want to kill yourself. Discharge now only deals damage if you have charges. I mean, I thought that's how it was before, wasn't it? You needed charges to deal discharge. I mean, that's why it's called discharge, right? You discharge the charges. I don't know. That's kind of weird. But anyway, we'll see a couple of different builds come out. We'll see more bow builds. We'll see more cold spell, lightning spell builds. We're not going to see a lot of arc. We might see more ball lightning. Ball lightning got a buff, so that's going to be pretty cool. I am very sad about Elemental Buzzsaw being nerfed. Both of the auras were nerfed, so it's not going to do crazy endgame damage as much as it was. Only if you can make it really, really good. If you pair it up with physical, so these auras are just going to be in addition to like a physical thing, possibly. Elemental damage on weapons, on like spectral throw and stuff, has been nerfed. I don't know if anyone's ever going to do any more spectral throwing with a elemental weapon. It doesn't seem like the reduction to the damage of these auras that were once amazing is just so much. Like, I don't even know if I want to keep getting my anger and wrath to level 20. Like, why would you do that if it does way less damage than before just starting a new character? So we have a couple of things to work with, Herald of Ash, Herald of Ice look pretty cool. So we'll see. These new skills look very interesting, Generosity is very interesting, though, because you can't link a reduced mana to 2 auras. You're going to have to do, to 3 auras. You're going to have to do 1 aura, 2 auras, a reduced mana gem, and the Generosity gem. And that's quite generous if you link this. If you play in a couple parties, you can tell everyone that, hey, you're Generosity. You're using Generosity, so I don't know, just to let them know that they have increased aura effect, and to turn off their auras. I wish this gave increased aura range, so there was more range on your auras, because they might be far behind. If you're an aura-based character, you might want to invest in a faster casting Lightning Warp reduced duration combo so that you can get around the map very quickly if other people are too fast. But anyway, it's going to be cool. Anyway, guys, this has been Guitar Guy 234 with another Path of Exile video, and we're all excited about 1.2. GGG is a great, great company. So I'll be there to play the new patch. Absolutely. Absolutely. Take care, guys.